putting Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker and Austin Bryan will go on the COVID list. And so that'll be coming down the wire. And then look, we'll see. I know you're going to ask about Jared Goff, so we'll see where he's at. He's improving. He'll run around tomorrow and see how that feels, and then we'll figure out, if he'll be able to practice Wednesday, what it'll look like, and just kind of move on from there. Other than that, I'll open it up to questions.
All right, guys, drop your name in the chat if you have anything. Dave.
Hey, Dan. Sorry, it took me a second there to type my name in. Is Josh Reynolds, is he ready to come back yet from COVID? Any update on that?
He should be ready. He's a lot better today than he was certainly 2 days ago when we were getting ready to leave. So we would expect to have him back. He should be good to go.
Obviously, with both your tackles going on COVID, I mean the timetable would give them an opportunity to play this weekend with the new NFL rules. But I don't know, how do you just have to manage that, I guess, in practice to make sure that you get them prepared and get the work you need for the other guys as well that could be filling in?
Yeah, I think I think you got to prepare. Like you're not going to have them. I mean, we thought we would have Josh. And I was being hopeful. I was being optimistic with it. And we didn't get Josh Reynolds. So, lesson learned there a little bit. Now we were ready. Hodge got those reps. It was all good. But I think, Nelson's got to be ready to go, and Will Holden and those guys. And in the meantime, the good news is, for example, Taylor, if he's able to go, he'll be good. Mentally, he'll be on it. He'll be doing the virtual meetings. He's played a lot of ball, and so I think he'll be ready to go. And I think Sewell can handle it too, as long as they're physically ready and back from COVID. But so it's doable.
Right. Two things I did want to ask you about before that COVID stuff was Tim Boyle. Obviously he had the interceptions yesterday, and that's partly circumstance, throwing so much. But just maybe, how did you think he played? Is there one thing that you saw that he really progressed on from start number 2, and maybe one area that will be a major point of emphasis for him this week?
Yeah, well, look, he ran the offense well again. I mean, he does great with communication with those guys. I mean, we had a lot of kills in, a lot of checks, and man, he handled it. He handled it great, and that's something we feel like he doesn't have any problem with any of that stuff. Thought he read coverage is pretty good there again, and thought he made some really good throws. I mean, it's kind of like what you guys saw. It was just, there was up and down. It was inconsistent. Man, he'd make a really good throw, and then maybe on another one we wouldn't quite get his feet set, and he's making an off-platform throw. And really, if he just sets his feet, it'll be more accurate there. And so those are little things where you love the fact that he plays fast, but you just got to calm some things down that'll help him. And I bring this up like and it's easy to look at it and, man, 3 interceptions, I know. And but man, there's something about this guy, and I think he's going to get better. And I think these reps are invaluable for him. And look, he got put in a tough spot. Now that's what he was charged with. We all were, but that's not the type of game we envision. And I don't care who you are, man. You don't want to get in those type of games. That's hard on a quarterback. And but even through all that, I did see improvement. And he plays fast, he's efficient. And it's just some of those things, man, we got to calm him down. I mean, he and TK, the one interception they had, it was just, man, body demeanor. As far as, man, what is Kennedy running out of this, or is he tight turning? And if you just hold just a minute, just a tick longer, you'll feel what he's doing, But he's trying to get that ball out of his hand, and they're not on the same page, and it's a pick, And so, look, I'm not discouraged. I'm not, I mean, but he knows better than anybody. He's got to learn from this, and he's got to cut those things out. But there's some stuff in there that I'm pretty encouraged by.
How do you slow him down just a tick? 'Cause I'm sure some of that is innate, right? I mean, he's been doing it for his whole life. So how do you get him to just pause that extra half
Well, look,
second?
I think a lot of that is what he learned under the guy he was with at Green Bay. The guy's plays pretty fast, and so I think that's been in the clock in his head. And I think he practices that way, and practices that way. And a lot of those times in practice, man, it's you're giving them the looks you're going to see in the game. You try to make it's competitive, but yet you try to give them that look. Here's what we're playing for, and so it's cleaner. It can be cleaner, and so sometimes in a game when it may get just a little bit fuzzy, while he's still on the clock in his head is telling him to go, throw it. And if you hold just a tick longer, it'll help you because I think he plays so fast that him just slowing down a little bit is going to do a lot for him. Whereas some other quarterbacks, man, if you slow down more than you already are, we're going to be in trouble. That's a sack. So, but no, I think there's some good things in there. I really do. I think he's a quick thinker, and I think he's going to learn from this and be better for it.
The other thing I had for you was just, did you have any issue with Pete Carroll's play selection late? You know, he threw that one down to the goal line with about 2 minutes left. I don't know. You know, Russell was in there the whole game. Do you have any issue with any of that?
No. I mean, look, like the way I look at that is, well, if you don't like it, you better stop it then. And hey, man, kudos. And to be honest with you, if they would have run it in at the end, I wouldn't have a problem with that either. It's up to us to stop them. So there's 60 minutes on that play clock and on the game clock. So if you got a problem, then why don't you stop it? Otherwise, they'll just keep piling it on. So no, I don't have any problem with that.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
Yep.
Tim?
Hey, Dan, I know you wanted to reserve judgment last night in Seattle on the defensive effort until you watched tape, and particularly the run game. Just maybe what stood out to you in the way you guys defended the run or lack thereof after watching the tape?
Yeah, look, I would say this, man, when you look at it, it wasn't effort. There's a few things. Number one, I thought they did a really good job over there, Seattle. They had a really good game plan, and I felt like they really exploited our youth. They did a lot of things that I felt like, forced us to be very detailed and very gap sound. Man, you had to have disciplined eyes on a lot of things. You know, they're bringing these these turbo motions with the receivers, then they're booting back this way. Then here comes the over, and now they're doing the same thing. They're running it. Then they're, and there again, I start with this: when you're able to get a gash run, and all of a sudden you start building some things off of it with the keepers and all those, especially with that quarterback, man, it creates a lot of issues. But it's, man, when you go through there and you start watching, and I felt like there was a lot of things where we got exposed on, and we got exposed on a little bit, and some of it's looks like the first time we've seen it with particularly some of our young guys, and then there again, man, there was 2 or 3 of them in there where we're fighting to hold a gap, and we're kind of in there, and the back cuts up, and we try to overplay back the other way, thinking he's going to go to that gap, and then he puts his foot in the ground and goes right through. And Penei's a good runner, but it's like, man, you got to trust it. Put your guy in the gap if it's not you, and then play back when he decides he's truly committed there. And so we just, man, we got all out of sorts. We got pushed around a little bit. We, feet not under us, and it was sloppy.
I know that's probably hard to live through in the moment, but is that a good learning experience? Is that film going to be good for those young guys?
Oh yeah, it better be. It's got to be. It can't be in vain. I know that. So, but yeah, they're going to have to learn from it. I mean, because look, Green Bay's going to do that stuff to us, and then every opponent who we get ready to play next year is going to look at the same thing and want to do all that stuff. I mean, it's a copycat league. Everybody's going to do what you get exposed by, and until you show that you can stop it.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
Steve?
Hi, Dan. Yesterday after the game, Amon-Ra was asked about some of the milestones that he's approaching in terms of Lions rookie receivers, and he was asked what he's looking forward to, and he said, honestly, beating Green Bay next week. And he said that 3 times, beating Green Bay next week. And he went on and said, I feel like that's what we need as a team, and that's obvious. But what does it mean to you when a rookie comes in and has that kind of mentality in terms of what he's accomplishing versus what the team has to accomplish?
Look, we like what Amon-Ra's about. I mean, it's one of the reasons why we selected him and why we had him targeted. It's just it's kind of his demeanor, man. He's always been he's a little bit more mature than most rookies. There's an intensity about him. We said this from day one. We started in camp, but he's cut the right way, man. And he's all about business, and he's competitive. He's really a total player. Run game, pass game. Hell, you see him carry the ball. He's smart as a whip. Which, by the way, I have no idea where that term came from, but I've used it all my life because my dad has. So if any of you guys want to tell me that one, I'm sure you'll look it up, but I have no idea. But he's smart. And when you have a guy that is that competitive, that smart, that versatile, the sky's the limit, and it makes it fun for us as coaches because you feel like, you can start tinkering a little bit. You can do different things with him and find different mismatches in the defense. And, but no, look, we love his attitude. He's all ball, he's all business, and he's tough.
At the beginning of the second half, when you cut that 31-point deficit down to whatever it was, 15 or 16 points, you had the onside kick. You threw to Taylor. You did a lot of things that were pushing the envelope, and that's how you like to coach. And the announcers, Gus Johnson and Aqib Talib, they were excited. They said, "Hey, look at this team. There's no quitting them, and they're going to play 4 quarters, and they're going to take it to you as well as they can." What's it like on the sidelines for you when things like that are done and you can feel the team revving up after being down by a ton of points?
Well, it's a good feeling because you feel like you're getting momentum back, like we have a chance. I mean, look, we score, we get the onside kick, which is a great job by Patterson and Bobby Price. That's a hell of a job. And then Godwin coming up with the recovery, and then we score again. And, and then obviously the play you just talked about, that was the second score. And so, man, you feel like you got some momentum. And so you just believe you're going to go out there and your defense is going to get a stop or we're going to get a turnover. And then all of a sudden, man, we're going to go down and score again. Because we had the feeling when we were getting the ball and moving it, getting it down there, we're scoring touchdowns. We weren't, that was a positive. We weren't having to settle for field goals. That was one of the silver linings of yesterday is offensively when we gained some, we got some first downs. We moved the ball. We were getting touchdowns. We were getting 7. So it's like, man, if we get a stop here and get it back, we're going to move it down and score 7 again. So the vibe, that's the feeling. That's the good feeling is, yeah, this is working, but you're turning the tides, and we just couldn't get it turned our way. It was too little, too late, and we dug ourselves in a ditch, and then we couldn't get it back.
And then you passed the Decker out of that 7 offensive lineman formation. At one point in the season, Dan, did you put that 7 offensive lineman formation into your offense?
That was this week, and that was by necessity, really, because we've lost our tight ends and had 2 new tight ends, and so when your 2 tackles are 2 of your better athletes in the between O linemen and tight ends, you're tempted to want to throw to them. So, but they did a good job. They did a good job, and Taylor did a hell of a job. It was a hell of a catch. I mean, it really was. So, but it's just, look, we're trying to find a way to move the ball, and anything that looks like the same sets that we run the ball out of, you just try to use some of those if you can find a little nugget in there.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, 3 more. Corey.
Hey, Dan, how's it going? Happy New Year.
Yep, you too.
Hey, so just from record aside for a second, from the time you stepped to the podium as introductory press conference to now, in what ways do you feel that you've grown as a coach that everyone may not see on surface?
Shoot, man, I would just think the things here as it pertains to organizing, man, the scheduling, practice schedules, daily schedules. I think in-game management, man, I've gotten a wealth of experience. And it's one thing to get as a head coach, but then just as a play caller, I feel like I've gotten so much more comfortable with calling an offense, but also still managing the game. That was an area I feel like 4 or 5 weeks ago, man. That was a big learning curve, and but I feel like everything's begin to slow down now. As far as that goes, my confidence is a lot better. I just feel like I see things a lot more clear. So, and look, just for my own time management, as doing what I do has improved. Nobody's really going to see that, but just having a handle on obviously our offense, as I call it, but then defense, special teams throughout the week, and catching up on the film and making sure I'm on top of the opponent, the totality of what they are. I think those things, I feel like I've grown a lot.
Now, were there anybody that helped you along with those changes, or were there just some things that you saw yourself that you needed to make some tweaks on and you went ahead and made the appropriate adjustments?
No, look, you got help from everybody here now. I mean, you can't do, that's the thing, you can't do anything alone. I mean, so I give credit to the whole staff now. So the minute you think you're doing everything by yourself, you're crazy, and because you can't. So I credit the staff, everybody around me, support staff as well. So everybody's got a hand in that.
All right, thanks a lot, Dan.
Yep.
Eric?
What's up, Dan? How you doing?
Good.
I want to go back to the COVID a little bit. With the guys that have been tested, obviously it's going on throughout the league a lot, but is this something that guys are self-reporting, or is this something that's like a part of a protocol? Like, how are you guys approaching it, like keeping it intact with the numbers of guys that have been testing at this rate?
Yeah, well, I guess since the rule had changed, whatever that's been a week or two ago, now it's up to you as a player. Unless you're unvaccinated, you still have to test, certainly, but it's really up to you. And I would say that look, that's their personal call on if they want to do that or not. And I'm telling you, you get torn between, okay, man, if I do test and I've got this, there's a good chance I don't play. But if I've got this and I don't report it and I'm spreading COVID to my teammate and he's got a family at home or what, so I think, man, it's a balancing. And I'm telling you, there's a number of players that are that way. I mean, I feel like it's a hard call, and so I don't fault anybody for it. That's your call on what you want to do with it and how you look at it. And so, it's kind of where we're at with it.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
Last one, Kyle.
Hey, Dan. Obviously, Penei has been through a lot this year, and it seems like he's coming out the other side a lot better player. I'm just curious where you've seen the most growth with Penei on the field this year.
Yeah, boy, that's a good look. I'll tell you what, I feel like the most growth has come in his pass protection, is what I would say, because I feel like the run player has been there almost since he stepped onto the property here, and but man, I think you saw the growing pains a little bit. Him, going against some really good rushers in preseason and early in the year. He's left. He goes back to right. And man, he's dealt with some damn good rushers. And he had some ups and downs. And I feel like, man, over the last half of the season, he's really grown. And you feel like, I mean, there was about 3 or 4 different sets in there yesterday where you watch him on Carlos Dunlap, who's still a good rusher and he's long. And I mean, Sewell's doing a few things that you see out of, a pretty crafty, wily 8-year vet that's pretty good at. Like, you're watching him do some things where he's trapping hands, and he's just, man, he's learning at an exponential rate. And the fact that he's such a dang good athlete, I just bring it back up in it. He's a great athlete, and he's 330 something pounds. I mean, it's just, those guys they don't just fall off trees. So, but I think that's where he really has improved, Kyle. I mean, and that's the hardest part of his job, playing tackle. And so that's encouraging.
And so just to follow up real quickly on the run blocking, because I am curious about that. He, as you said, I mean, he's just been awesome since he got here, and he's improved a lot over the season. What is it about him that makes him such a good run blocker, especially so early in his career, I guess?
Well, I'll say this. Let's start here. Any good run blocker's got it between their ears. So if you choose to be a good run blocker and you've got a little bit of an attitude, that's going to go a long way for you, being pretty good. And that's what he's got before anything else, And then certainly once you add that ability and his explosiveness and size, and then, man, that's a force to be reckoned with. But he's got the demeanor and the attitude, and he's had that. And you know what? You can't coach that. And so, but there again, it's another reason why we love this guy and why we picked him where we did.
Thank you, Dan.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for your time, Coach.
Okay. Thank y'all.